Welcome to the Wellnest Mamas podcast. We are committed to leading a sustainable lifestyle and making community connections. In a world where stress and chaos seem to be the norm, finding balance and fostering a sense of true well-being is essential.
Whether you are just beginning your holistic wellness journey or are already deeply dedicated to the practice, this podcast is for you. Join the Wellnest Mamas as we uncover the secrets to holistic wellness and discover the power of building a healthy community that supports and uplifts one another.
Sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on a transformative journey to leading a sustainably healthy lifestyle. We're glad you're here.
All right. Welcome back to the Wellnest Mamas podcast. I'm Steph.
I'm Caitlin. And today we're here with Dr. Richie.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, fantastic. It's going to be a great day.
It is. It's going to be in the 70s.
I didn't even wear a jacket. I know. So tell us more about you. We love to ask people like how they started their journeys. When you were little, did you grow up and say, I want to be a chiropractic or?
No. So rewind to like the day I was born. So my mom's a chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
And she's been in practice for 35 years. And I've been adjusted once a week on maintenance since I was born. And more than that when I was playing competitive sports. And then I was playing competitive sports. I played soccer. That was my jam. And so when you're playing competitive sports, you have to declare your major in like 10th grade. Mm. And I had no clue what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't know. My mom's a chiropractor, and my dad does logistics and import-export. Like, you couldn't be too far apart on a spectrum than those two. So I had to make a choice if I wanted to go business or health, and it was a really long process. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I decided I want to go into the health side of things because I was very active, and I thought I would get bored sitting behind a desk at some point. And so I still didn't know I wanted to be a chiropractor. And it wasn't until I was working in my mom's office, I remember like it was yesterday. I looked at her, I was like, why don't I just do this? She goes, sure. And that's how the whole chiropractic journey started. It was probably embedded in my brain from there, but she never forced us. My sister's a chiropractor as well. But she never forced us to, you have to be a chiropractor or whatever. You could do whatever you want. But if you want to be a chiropractor, based on what I know, there are a couple schools that I want you to look at. And there are other schools that I don't want you to look at based on just the curriculum and the technique and some of the stuff that they have going on there. So that's how this whole thing started. I mean, if we go back, it started at birth, but really in my late teens and early 20s, I was like, yeah, I'll go do that.
That's cool. So what was chiropractor school like?
Oh, it was great. So they're on a quarter system. So there was no 3 months off in the summer. It was a 4-year undergraduate degree, plus then it's 3.5 years of schooling afterwards, but it was all year round. So it was, instead of a 16-week semester, it was an 11-week quarter. We had 4 of those a year. It was 4,700 credit hours, averaged about 26.5 credit hours a week while we were in class, labs, and then a 6-month externship. So we don't have to do as many hours of an externship because you are your specialty. Whereas if you go to med school, the doctors will have to go, the residency is a lot longer because they have to try all the different specialties to see where they're going to be placed. We chose a specialty before going to school. Mm-hmm. So school was a lot. Started in 2015 and graduated in 2018. So we were able to get through right on track, and it was a lot. We have to learn everything about the body because we have to know what we can and can't dive into. So I have to be able to diagnose things without diagnosing things. Mm-hmm. Because it's not in the scope of practice, but I have to know where to send people. Mm-hmm. So, for example, on x-rays, I'm responsible for the top or the apex of the lung. And if I see a tumor there, I can't tell the patient they have a tumor. I can't diagnose that. That's out of my scope. But I have to know that it's a tumor, and I have to know what doctor to send them to, so that way I'm competent in what I do, and I'm not, don't let the patient down, and it gets to be a whole mess. So it's a lot more than just learning about the back itself. I have to know everything. I took soft tissue, CT classes. I learned how to read CTs, MRIs, everything, because we have to know what we can and can't do.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. So where did you go to school?
I went to school in Marietta, Georgia, small school called Life University. I picked it because they had the most technique opportunities to learn and the most advanced technique classes. So I could pick and choose what techniques I wanted to dive into when I got into practice. Some schools, there's just the set basic curriculum, and they didn't have very many other electives, and the philosophy wasn't as strong at the other schools as when it was the school in Georgia.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you've developed a philosophy of more modern techniques versus is that kind of what you're saying, that you have more skills?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to dive into more avenues than other schools just have available to them. Mm-hmm. So I actually don't do a lot of instrument high tech work. Mm-hmm. That stuff's it's cool. It has its place. I'm a very kinesthetic person. I like to be very hands-on. I mean, chiropractic, the root means done by hand, so I felt kind of weird not using my hands. Mm-hmm. And so I guess the best way I put it is I take new school and old school chiropractic and I put it together. I use the techniques that have been proven tried and true for the last 129 years that have been there since the start, but I take the new age, I take a lot of x-rays, and I do a lot of teaching to my patients about what their spine looks like, what it all looks like, and how we can work together to help them fix it. So it has nothing to do with me.
So I know chiropractic, and we kind of talked about this before, chiropractic has so many different philosophies and modalities, within clinics, within, different practitioners. What is your patient philosophy or specialty in your practice and technique?
So our philosophy in the office is everybody was born with the ability to survive and thrive. And they have everything in them that they need to thrive in this life. There are just certain times where it's not expressing fully. So we take nothing from the patient and put nothing into the patient. We work with the power that they were born with so they could do their thing. So that's our philosophy is you're perfect the way you are. We just need to shift. We need to tune a couple dials. Mm-hmm. I do biostructural chiropractic work. So I don't just say, okay, you have neck pain, let's adjust your neck, or you have back pain, let's check your back. We do a global postural assessment, and we take x-rays to make sure that there are no abnormal shifts. When you look at somebody from the front of the back, it should be straight as an arrow, and on the side there should be 3 curves. If there's a shift on any of those, then we're compromising some part of the nervous system. And so not only do we adjust the specific segments in the spine, we also look to give corrective exercises and different pieces of traction for the patient to realign the global posture pattern into a more ideal position.
Do you do x-rays before every time you see a patient?
No. So we take x-rays on the first visit of 99% of our patients. Mm-hmm. So our philosophy is you're not going to walk in and get adjusted. Mm-hmm. Because then that's not allowing me to be the doctor you need. That's you telling me what you need. And I love that. Most people, they're intuitive, but if you're coming into the office, it's because you have a problem and you haven't been able to fix that problem elsewhere, which is why you became a new patient with us. At least that's how I see it. So we need to do some testing and things to figure out why you feel the way you do, not just chase your symptoms. So everybody gets x-ray. Well, there are certain things we don't x-ray. We don't x-ray pregnant moms. We don't x-ray kids under the age of 7 that have 0 complaints. There are some other times where we can't x-ray if, sometimes if somebody's going through an active chemo treatment or something, I will talk to their oncologist before, x-raying them, just little things like that. But most people get x-rayed on the first day they're in the building. And then at the end of their plan, the second to last visit, they get a comparative x-ray, a post x-ray. And we sit in what I call our report room together, and I put the same view. So if I'll take a side view of the neck, first time I'll take a side view of the neck, the second time I'll put them right next to each other, same analysis drawn on them, and I get to tell the patient, I said, tell me what you fixed in your spine. And I purposely word it that way because I don't fix anything. I'm a vessel to help them heal quicker. It's nothing to do with me. So people get x-rayed twice. If it's a longer plan, there's a lot of decay going on where we're over 12 months of care. They'll get a beginning x-ray, a halfway mark, and an end mark. I like to take a halfway mark just to make sure, okay, are we moving in the right direction? This person has invested a great deal of time, and they're pledging to invest a great deal, a good amount of finances in this. I want to make sure we're going in the right direction halfway through. I don't like to be that guy that's like, well, I'll let you know in 12 months if it worked or not. So we take x-rays halfway through for some of those longer plans.
That's cool. So I remember when we met, you mentioned that you were one of the only chiropractors in Arkansas that has a jaw interest. Is that something?
So
did I word it correctly?
That's what I've learned. So when I was in school, we took extremity technique classes. Mm-hmm. So we learned to adjust jaws, shoulders, elbows, wrists, hands, fingers, hips, knees, ankles, feet, and toes. And I spoke to about 4 or 5 different dentists that for some reason I don't know if the chiropractors here haven't told people, or they just don't feel comfortable, or they don't want to, but nobody touches jaws. And I've done some work in our last practice with people who had some TMJ issues, and it seemed to work. Some of them, it wasn't necessarily a chiropractic thing, so I referred them back to their dentist. It was pretty much don't eat hard candies and don't have big sandwiches, and go ask your dentist because my analysis says that everything structurally is okay, so let's go check. But that's one thing I found. I don't know how valid it is to say that the chiropractors here don't check TMJ, but with the 4 different dentist offices I spoke to, they have nobody to refer to. Mm-hmm. So that was the conclusion I came to, and I was like, wow, I know how to do it. I've done it, and we've had success, so we'll treat TMJ issues. So
my understanding, TMJ is happens after your jaw's been adjusted. Like most people have had like orthodontic work or something like that. Do you find that to be true?
Yeah, because the jaw and the jaw articulates with the skull. Mm-hmm. And it actually works very similarly to the vertebrae in our spine, because there's a disc between the jaw and the skull. And so when you hold your mouth open in as wide as you can for an extended period of time, sometimes there could be a misalignment in there. And sometimes we have to look at, is the disc being pushed anterior, or is the disc being pushed posterior back towards the ear? And there could develop some discomfort and some pain. Mm-hmm. So when you go to the dentist and you're there, and let's say you're getting a cavity done, you ever notice that when you're out, like you feel like chewing is more difficult, like your mouth is tired? So when we get tired, we fatigue, and sometimes things shift. And so yes, a lot of times if you're stuck with your mouth open for a really long period of time, it can cause that to shift. because there's not a lot of muscle that protects that. It's very superficial. I mean, you can touch it. Compared to the spine, there's 7 layers of muscle between you and the bone, so it's not as sensitive. It's more micro traumas for the back versus one specific pinpointed incident like I see for jaw.
Nice.
That's really interesting. So tell us, when did you land in Northwest Arkansas?
We landed here, my wife landed here September 1st of 2023, and I got here October 6th of 2023.
So y'all are fresh.
Fresh out. We are newbies.
Welcome.
We vacationed here quite a few times over the past 5 years, and we knew this is a place we wanted to land. We just didn't realize it was going to be this quick. But hey, everything happens for a reason. So
when I met your wife, she was very interesting. She mentioned that she does chiropractic work on animals.
Yes. Oh, yes. She is our resident dog whisperer. Okay. She worked with a very, very well-known practice out in Colorado that only saw animals. They had 3 different locations all up the Front Range. And she's amazing at what she does. She loves to treat animals. We have 3 dogs of our own. They all get adjusted. And she loves working on animals. She's always loved animals. She grew up on a farm. She had horses and dogs and chickens, and she's our farm girl. And she's
We
awesome.
like that around here.
That's why we connected. I was like, you're cool. So tell us, what are your goals for the community?
Well, we want to create a community in our office, but we don't mind having that community be in another community. Our goal is just to find like-minded people who want to do things not the easy way, but the right way. And that's taking care of this. So it falls in line with what y'all are doing here beautifully, because we only get one of these. And if we don't treat it well, no matter how hard we work or no matter how anything we do, if we treat ourselves, for lack of better terms, like a dumpster fire, we're not going to be able to do the things we want to do for a very long time. So we want to find the people who are willing to do the work to reap the reward.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want to leave us with?
You know, just if you haven't, this is my call to action for every human being on the planet, no matter if I'm here in a podcast or I'm in an airport in Atlanta. It's, if you don't know what your spine looks like, take the time to go find out. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to become a chiropractic patient for life, but you just need to know so you can understand where limitations may come later. And if you can prevent them, I would suggest doing it. But just be informed about what your structure looks like, so that way you're not confused or wondering why you're hemorrhaging tens of thousands of dollars later on for surgeries and medications and illnesses where you might have been able to stop it 20, 30 years prior. So just get checked.
So prevention is worth
100%.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I can talk for hours on prevention and studies on financial savings with prevention and things like that that we've uncovered over the years. But prevention is key.
Awesome.
It's great to hear.
Where can our listeners find you? You have social media, or website?
Yes.
What?
So our website is limitlessnwa.com. Tried to make it as clean as possible. We are on Facebook and Instagram as Limitless Chiropractic. You'll see us because our logo has a giant green and blue diamond in the middle with a spine going through it. That's us. So we're on Instagram and Facebook, and pretty soon we're going to be on YouTube. I'm recording little micro webinars on certain things. So we have one on TMJ coming out.
Oh, cool.
And we have one on headaches that is going to come out. And we're going to do little 5 to 10 minute micro workshops on different areas of pain and what we can do to combat that. So.
Excellent.
That's really cool. Let us know whenever you get that uploaded. We'll share it. That's
Will do.
great info.
Of course.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.